Hi, I'm EllaAradia, and welcome to your Psychic Tarot love reading. This reading is for my Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces water signs. The timestamps are below, where we'll be taking a deeper dive into your person's hidden feelings for you. This is a love reading, and it's for those of you who are already connected with someone, even if you are currently in no contact with your person. So this will be a very specific message. It may not resonate for all of you. If it feels right, then it's meant for you. Otherwise, you may want to check out the readings for your other placements, so Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. And before we jump in, a big thank you to all of you who are supporting my channel by liking and subscribing. So if you enjoyed this reading and you haven't already done that, please do. It helps the channel out a lot. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and then get notified when the next videos are up. So Cancer, let's jump in. I always like to tune into the energies first, Cancer, before I start pulling any cards. I'm seeing the word transition, and I feel like there is an openness to new love, to a new beginning, but it's almost like you're looking back on the past, like there's unfinished business. It's like there's a piece of your heart that's still in the past for some reason. So with your overall energies, we have the Seven of Cups. Very much a card of options, possibility, and that's where I kind of feel you standing right now. And, you know, there are perhaps, you know, some different connections which might be kind of orbiting you at the moment. It's also a card of potential. Seeing the potential. But there's also clouds around these cups as well, you know, which can sometimes cloud perhaps the reality of something. So with your person's view of you, we have a death, very transitional card as well. Their feelings towards you, the Nine of Wands. Their intentions towards you, the Nine of Pentacles. Your feelings towards your person, the Six of Swords. I feel like there's a lot of healing that's been going on for you in recent weeks, recent months. Because the Six of Swords, it's this energy of moving away from, you know, something that is not emotionally fulfilling for you. It's moving away from choppy waters to a place of healing, a place of peace, of emotional fulfillment. And it feels like you're on your way, but you're just not quite to the other side just yet. Let's just look at the challenge. So in your challenge, you have the Queen of Pentacles. I feel like this is a reading about not settling for less, Cancer, as soon as I see the Queen of Pentacles in the challenge there, because this is all about soul lessons of really knowing your worth and your value, and really taking care of yourself in that way, not settling for less, because this is, you know, really what this card of transition represents, you know, moving away from, you know, whatever the situation, the person that maybe wasn't valuing you in, you know, the way that you deserved. And when I look at these cards here, you know, death is a very transitional energy. It's, you know, it's about rebirth, of letting go of something, you know, beliefs, old versions of oneself, letting go of what no longer really serves. You know, it's the transitional kind of death and rebirth energies. And with their feelings towards you, I feel like you're just dealing with someone that's really super guarded when I see this card. And intentions towards you, 9 of Pentacles. This is really a card of independence. And when I feel into the energies here, it's almost to me that there was something not right about the timing with this person. And it may well be, you know, that they have, their focus has been to, or still is to perhaps work on, you know, career or life goals or creating abundance. And maybe they are just not ready for, you know, what you really wanted. That's the feeling I get here. Maybe you were on different pages, because I do feel like this is someone in your past. It's somebody that you are in the process of, you know, moving away from, moving on from. And there may be a little bit of a challenge to, you know, let go of some kind of potential that you had in your mind about this person, you know, with this 7 of Cups. And that's what can happen sometimes. You know, we see the potential in someone and we see the potential of what something could be. But sometimes it's not the reality of the situation. And, you know, that's what the 7 of Cups is all about. It's a caution also to have discernment, to make sure you're seeing the whole picture here, to make sure that you are not settling for less. Because I do feel a little bit of a breadcrumb energy here. The hidden influence, we have the Fool. And that's the universe, I feel, Cancer, bringing in, you know, it may well be that the universe has perhaps moved this person out of your way because, you know, there is a different path for you to walk. And it may involve facing some fears. And it may involve taking a leap of faith here. It may involve, you know, stepping into the unknown, even if you can't see where the path is leading. But there's a big invitation to, you know, embrace some kind of new beginning here. And in order to be able to take that step, those lessons need to be learnt around self-worth and self-value. And that may involve perhaps letting go of the potential or the dream of what you thought that could be with that person, and facing, you know, any fears or insecurities that doing that might bring up. Because either way, I feel love is coming in for you. Whatever happens with this person that you're, you know, still looking back at, I do feel love is coming in for you. But it is going to involve, you know, really getting into those energies of your worth and your value here, Cancer. Because I do feel that, yeah, you know, this is someone's got their guard up. And to me, they definitely don't feel like they're in the right space or it's the right time to, you know, connect on a deeper emotional level with you. You know, this is someone who I feel is absolutely, you know, wanting to maintain their independence here. Isn't ready for, you know, that long-term commitment just yet. Isn't ready to perhaps look at their own wounds or issues that are blocking them from, you know, having a healthy love. So your advice is the Sun. Finding your joy again, your happiness, and embracing life with, that playfulness and that innocence of the child there, because the sun is all about clarity. It's about happiness and success, and taking that leap of faith. And in your outcome, the Eight of Pentacles. This is all about putting the work in. And for me, it feels like, this is about you putting the work into yourself, investing in yourself. And, when we do that, when we invest in ourselves and we love ourselves, we value ourselves, we know our worth, all of those things, that's when your vibration changes, and that's when you can attract somebody that can do the same for you. So let's just get your person's hidden message for you. So the hidden message is more for those of you that are in some kind of no contact situation. So Cancer. I want you. I left when I saw you with someone. So that's going to resonate for some of you. I love you unconditionally. We need to let each other go. So there is love there, and there is attraction there. But what I just keep feeling about it is that you're just dealing with someone who, needs to do a little bit more work on themselves. They're not quite ready. It's not quite the right time. And perhaps there's a different path for you to walk, Cancer. And I do see love coming in. I do see that in your timeline. Whether it's your person transformed or it's somebody brand new, that kind of remains to be seen. But the most important thing is to really learn and embody those soul lessons. So we are going to move on to Scorpio. So let's see what we have, Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, let's dive in. So I always like to just tune into the energies for Scorpio before I start pulling cards. I get a great feeling about this. Whoever you are connected with right now, there's so much potential here. There really is. And I feel like somebody has hit a little bit of a challenge in opening up and taking things to the next level. So with your overall energies, we have the Magician, and that's exactly what I was just talking about, this energy of potential, the potential in the connection, seeing the potential in the other, the relationship. With your person's view of you, we have the Knight of Cups. Often represents, somebody pursuing an offer of love, a new opportunity for love. Their feelings towards you, the Six of Wands, acknowledgement, recognition, seeing that potential there of the Magician. Their intentions towards you, the Two of Swords, which I feel like that is representing this kind of block or challenge, this glitch that you've kind of hit. Because this is someone that, is maybe feeling like they're at a bit of a crossroads with the connection here with you, Scorpio. That there is some kind of choice that needs to be made. Often represents indecision, feeling a little bit conflicted, a little bit stuck in their mind about this. And of course, a call to really, I think, connect to their heart, Listen to what their heart's saying. Your feelings towards your person, the Hanged Man. I feel like you're a little bit stepped back from this, Scorpio, for some reason. Let's just see what the challenge is here. This is what I'm talking about, the Two of Cups. That's the challenge. The challenge is... Now, I feel like this is on your side, Scorpio, but of course it can be round the other way. Sometimes the roles are reversed here. But I do feel like there's a challenge here of opening up to love. And not just opening up to love, but a love that feels healthy. One that is reciprocal, balanced, because the Two of Cups, it really speaks of, those deep mutual connections. This is soulmate energy. And there's there is an invitation here for you to perhaps embrace this with this person. Your hidden influence is the Ten of Wands. And I feel like that relates to whatever it is that you are carrying here, Scorpio, that is preventing you from opening up, to this love, this Two of Cups. And it might be time to, just take a pause. And I do feel many of you may be a little bit stepped back right now, because I do feel like this person's coming towards you, with this Knight of Cups, this offer of love and of really recognizing, what this connection could be with you, what it is with you. Because I do feel like they are feeling something, deeper for you. And my sense here is, you may be being a little bit guarded, a little bit held back. That may come from, your own wounds from the past, betrayals, heartbreaks, whatever that is. And at some point, I feel like they're needing to get back from you this same, recognition and honoring of the connection. And so that's where it's at right now, I feel, and that's where your challenge is. And, it may be with this energy of the Hanged Man, it's perhaps to, look at things from a different perspective, because I feel like there's a pattern here, Scorpio. I feel like, many of your connections have probably gone down the same path. And it might be time to, start letting go of, some of these things that you're carrying here that might be weighing heavy on you, that may ultimately be blocking you, let's say, from, the very thing that you do want here, Scorpio. And as I said, this can be round the other way sometimes. Your advice from the universe, the Two of Wands, there's a choice to be made here. And it's really important to make a choice that takes you forward, takes you into a better place. One that you can grow and evolve. Rather than, making a choice that keeps you in an old pattern or an old loop. Because this is also a card of possibility and potential and a card of growth. And what lies in your outcome here is the Emperor, which often is a card of control. And, the Emperor is often, very much this kind of leadership energy, wisdom, things like that. But it's also about, taking your power, getting back in your power. But also a caution, I feel here, Scorpio, around, perhaps letting go of a need to keep control. And, you know, whatever fears, insecurities come up as a result of that, you know, that is perhaps where you need to look first in terms of looking at the things inside of you which, you know, might be blocking you from, you know, having happiness and joy and love and all of that. So let's get your person's hidden message for you. So this is more for those of you who are in some kind of no contact situation. Scorpio. I am becoming a better person. I hid who I really am from you. I hope that you can forgive me one day. I replay our conversations over and over. Some of you may be in a moment of separation, but I don't feel like it's the end. So, Scorpio, going to leave it there. I'm going to move on to Pisces. So, one more. Okay, Pisces. Let's dive in. So I always like to tune into the energies, first Pisces, before I start pulling cards. I feel like many of you are in some kind of situation where there is not an equal give and take. And, you know, that may be because you are just on slightly different pages, you're wanting different things. But I really strongly feel this energy of one person just putting in more than the other. I mean, it feels like you're the one that's investing, putting in the energy, and the person that you're dealing with is just not stepping up here. And that might be for many different reasons. Your overall energies is the King of Cups. Emotional wisdom, mastery, emotional balance. And very much an energy of emotional maturity, which is also something I feel you are having more of in this connection than the person that you're dealing with. With their view of you, we have the Four of Wands. Their feelings towards you, the world. Their intentions towards you, the Nine of Cups. I've got mixed energies here. Like you may be dealing with someone that's kind of opening up, closing off, you know, they're hot and cold. Because with their view of you, you know, they want to have that stability. They want to have that happy home. You know, this is a card of a milestone. It often represents moments where, you know, they might be moving in together, you know, some kind of commitment, because, you know, the Four Wands on the card there, they're a gateway. They're a gateway to that emotional stability, the happy home, you know, that commitment. And with the World here as their feelings, this is an invitation for some kind of upgrade. So the World is not always about endings and completions in terms of something, you know, completely coming to a close. It's also a card of graduation and moving things to the next level. So it's a card of growth. And all of that is there, but with their feelings towards you, we have the Nine of Cups. So the Ten of Cups is, you know, the happily ever after, the wishes granted, the dreams come true, you know, what you've always wanted. And so the 9 is, you know, kind of a little bit of a step back from that still. And in a love reading, this represents someone who perhaps is a little bit guarded, who is kind of saying, you know, I'm okay on my own. I'm okay as a single person, which, you know, can be a great space to get to, you know, to feel complete on your own, that you don't really need anybody and this, that, and the other. But in a relationship reading, I feel like it's often someone who is a little bit held back, being a little bit guarded, because that's the energy that I feel when I look at this card with the figure and they've got their arms crossed like that. So there might be a fear here. You may have hit a block or a challenge. Your person may have hit a block or a challenge around opening up to something deeper, to something more long-term and committed here, even if that's what they want on a much deeper soul level. That's what I'm feeling. They may have hit a little fear, a little insecurity, a block. And that's what this energy is. That's where they're, you know, being a little bit protective of their emotions right now. Because this is a water card, it's cups. So with your feelings towards your person, we have the 7 of Swords. When I feel into that, it's not going to resonate for all of you, but for some of you, you may have been dealing with someone who has perhaps been being a little bit deceptive in some way, that hasn't been perhaps being honest and open, because this often represents these energies of things being hidden, you know, someone kind of sneaking around, you know, a bit behind your back, dishonesty, deception. So for some of you, you may have been dealing with someone who might be a little bit of a player. They might be on the cusp, let's say, of settling down and having a committed relationship, but they might still have some of these kind of traits of being a bit of a player. For others, you know, this might represent a need for you to be really honest and truthful with your feelings, the reality of the situation. Sometimes represents a need for strategic thinking moving forwards. But to me, it feels more like there are trust issues in this connection than anything else, because that's the other thing that this card can represent here. Not feeling trusting of your person. So let's look at your challenge. The challenge is the Queen of Wands. That's where I'm feeling that player energy. I feel like this is the person that you're dealing with, and very charismatic, very magnetic, fiery energy, you know, passion. Probably quite an outgoing person, quite social, you know, likes to meet people and chat. And I'm almost just seeing these energies of a little bit of flirting or, you know, entertaining conversations. The hidden influence is the Page of Wands. And this is the energy that I'm really talking about here. And, you know, that's that player energy that's just kind of coming into it. You know, it's funny because it's like on a deep level, I do feel like they want this Four of Wands. But the question is, you know, can they get past whatever block or challenge that they've come up against? Because it's a fear of opening up to love. It's a fear of commitment. And so instead of, you know, facing all of that, you know, what you're dealing with now is this player energy. And, you know, of course, that's created a lack of trust. That breaks trust. And, you know, trust is so important in a connection. But I really feel, you know, that is what's going on here, because I've got two different energies here that I'm feeling. That's those mixed messages. And there is an invitation, you know, there's always an invitation to learn the lessons, to take things to the next level. But as always, you know, it takes two people to be able to do that, not just one. And this is where I feel like there's a little bit of misalignment, because I feel you're ready, Pisces, but maybe not the person that you're dealing with. So your advice from the universe, the devil, which is a call to accountability, to have a look at your shadows, the patterns that, the unhealthy patterns, the toxic patterns, which might be keeping you in something that is unhealthy in some way. And, you know, with the devil, you know, often represents, you know, that it is something that might still serve a purpose for you in some way. Like there's something you're getting from that. But the general energy of this is, you know, something unhealthy, something toxic. And it is all about remembering that you have the power to change and let go of, you know, whatever these patterns are. And you're free to do that at any moment. Like the figures on the cards, the chains around the necks are loose and they can take them off at any moment. But it may be that, you know, there is a calling here right now, Pisces, to have a look at, you know, what's really keeping you in this connection. What are you getting from it? What part of you, you know, do you need to heal? Because the shadow, it represents, you know, these unhealed parts of us, the parts of us which are often denied, disowned, you know, often goes back to childhood. And a calling really to, you know, integrate the soul lessons. So have a feel into it. You know, what are the soul lessons of this situation? What is the universe calling you to really look at in this situation? Because sometimes the connections that we have, you know, they are about, you know, learning, you know, these really valuable soul lessons. Not everybody is meant to stay. Sometimes it's about learning these lessons and letting go of, you know, what truly no longer serves you, letting go of what's unhealthy so that you can move forwards into a better place here. In your outcome, we have the Knight of Swords. Often represents a little bit of a destructive energy, can be someone coming into your life very quickly or leaving very quickly. It may be about cutting ties and taking a swift action on that. But take a moment to really feel into that first. But it is definitely some kind of call to action here where there is perhaps a need to cut ties with, you know, a situation, a person that, you know, isn't really bringing you what you really want here. learning the lessons, moving forwards, which will ultimately bring you closer to having this King of Cups, you know, someone who can, you know, love and support you and create that safe emotional container for you. So let's just get your person's hidden message for you. So the hidden message is more for those of you that are in some kind of no contact situation. So Pisces. I hide behind material things. I look for you everywhere. I'm starting to understand our connection. I wonder if you're happy without me. I can't stop thinking about you. So there's clearly some reflecting going on here. And as I said, there is always an invitation for things to go to the next level. But the most important thing here is, you know, absolutely about not staying in something which is unhealthy for you. So Pisces, I'm going to leave it there. If this reading resonated, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, you know, whatever comes through in a reading, moving forwards, always trust what feels right for you. So thanks so much for being here, and I wish you a great month ahead.